Today we're going to talk about seizures. This video is in response to one of our viewers who requested that we cover this subject. About 1 out of every 10 people may have a seizure during his or her lifetime. That means seizures are common, and one day you might need to help someone during or after a seizure. So let's talk about what you can do to keep that person safe until the seizure stops by itself. One of the first questions we need to address is, do I call 911? Seizures do not usually require emergency medical attention. Only call 911 if one or more of these following things are true. If the person's never had a seizure before, if the person has difficulty breathing or waking after the seizure, if the seizure lasts longer than 5 minutes, if the person has another seizure soon after the first one, if the person is hurt during the seizure, if the seizure happens in water, or if the person has a health condition like diabetes, heart disease, or is pregnant. So, what is the first aid for any type of seizure? There are many types of seizures. Most seizures end in a few minutes. These are the general steps to help someone who is having any type of seizure. Stay with the person until the seizure ends and he or she is fully awake. After it ends, help the person sit in a safe place. Once they are alert and able to communicate, tell them what happened in very simple terms. Comfort the person and speak calmly. Check to see if the person is wearing a medical bracelet or any other emergency information. Keep yourself and other people calm. Offer to call a taxi or another person to make sure that the person gets home safely. Now, if a person is having what we call a grand mal seizure or a tonic-clonic type seizure, when most people think of a seizure, they think of a generalized tonic-clonic seizure, also called a grand mal seizure. In this type of seizure, the person may cry out, fall, shake, or jerk, and become unaware of what's going on around them. Here are things you can do to help someone who is having this type of seizure. Ease the person onto the floor. Turn the person gently onto one side. This will help the person breathe. Clear the area around the person of anything hard or sharp. This can prevent injury. Put something soft and flat like a folded jacket under his or her head. Remove eyeglasses. Loosen ties or anything around the neck that may make it hard to breathe. And then time the seizure. Call 911 if the seizure lasts longer than 5 minutes. Now, it's also important to know what not to do. Knowing what not to do is as important as knowing what to do for keeping a person safe during and after a seizure. First, never do any of the following things. Do not hold the person down or try to stop his or her movements. Do not put anything in the person's mouth. This can injure teeth or the jaw. A person having a seizure cannot swallow his or her tongue. Do not try to give mouth-to-mouth breaths like CPR. People usually start breathing again on their own after a seizure. And then do not offer the person water or food until he or her or she is fully alert. These are just a few tips to try to help if you encounter someone who is having a seizure, and it may give you a good indicator of how to help them best under these circumstances.